Welcome, everybody. My name is Fahad Ehsan, and I'm going to be talking about um, detecting unknown malware. I know this is a topic which we have not heard about a lot. We have had similar talks by other people on this conference, so I'll give my insight into this. Um a little bit about myself. I'm based out of Singapore. Um, I work for a large Swiss bank. Um, but I like to do some of my personal research. So the talk which I'm giving today is based on my personal research outside of my work. Unfortunately, I will not be able to talk what I do at work. Uh, uh, so here goes. So before I go any further, can anybody tell me what this is or what this looks like? I know it's a screenshot from a Google map, but does it mean anything to you guys, or have you seen this before, what it could mean to you? Obviously, the A says that there's something called BrainNet. Has anybody heard about this? Basically, this is a location where it is alleged that one of the first mass-affecting malware was created. This place is in Lahore, in Pakistan. This company, BrainNet, is still in business. They provide telephony and IP services. The malware basically changed the master boot record of a 5-inch floppy drive, and it added a specific message in that. More interestingly, the message which was added as part of the master boot record was not to do anything malicious, but it was spreading a message. As you know, piracy is a big problem around the world, and it's also a big problem in Pakistan. So the company also used to produce some software, medical software for retailers and clinics. So they were actually trying to stop. Piracy, and they were asking people to contact them. What's more important in this is that this place is not very far from my home. I'm from Pakistan, and I live not very far from here. The ground which you see over here, I used to frequent it when I was young with my family, so I have loads of memories with this, so I don't know how to feel about this. But this building is fairly nondescript. If you're looking at it, you will not know that this is like where the malware was created. And this is basically what the message was added to the master boot record. Again, they're saying that this is our address, this is the company, this is the phone number. I believe these phone numbers still work today. And as the message says, beware of this virus, contacts us for vaccination. Basically, they're saying that don't use the pirated version of the software, please contact us for vaccination. You can find more about this at this F-Secure website. So here goes. So this was way back in 1986. Fast forward 2014. So this is a malware which is called Malware. This is based on a service which is very widely used in Brazil. So this research paper by RSA was published in July when the World Cup was going on. And they revealed that this malware has been in the wild since start of 2013. The impact, as you can see, it says $3.75 billion. What's interesting about this malware is that it is using very well understood techniques called man in the browser. So basically, the user, how Boleto services works is that the payee who's supposed to receive the payment, they generate a sort of a receipt paper according to which has the details of the bank, the account number. So all of it is added there, or sort of hashed, and that gets generated, and that is given to the payer. And the payer, according to the instructions, they pay the amount, and this is all digital. So this is, again, as I said, that this is how they do it in Brazil. So this is very widely used. So the main point over here is that 3.75 billion amount, and still counting, it is lost. And this is not from any corporation or any big company. This is like people like you and myself. They are losing this money. So they have been duped into losing this money, do these transactions. So I'm only asking a question: why is it like this? This technique of man in the browser is very well understood. We have seen this over and over again. This is nothing new. Why? So I'm asking a very simple question: why is it taking the security research companies or the vendors 2.5 years to come up with this kind of, they're only finding it when the people have lost so much money? And how long are we going to continue to accept this? Again, I do not know the answer to this. I was supposed to talk about another malware which is called Turla. I don't know how many of you know about Turla. I have a research paper over here by FireEye. Yeah, I have a research paper from FireEye which talk about APT28, a window into Russian cyber espionage operations. So I was actually supposed to talk about that, but if I look at what has happened over the course of last 1 week, there is a new malware which is called Region. And it is called super spyware. Again, all fancy names, and there are research papers published by Symantec and Kaspersky. According to that, it has been active in the wild since 2008. They don't know, they don't say what it is. They don't give any specifics what it is, but they only tell us that it is very, very complex. It's fairly complex. It is interacting, with the registry keys and whatnot. It is as complex as Stuxnet, thought to be affecting 14 countries. This report is from, I think, 2 days ago from Kaspersky. What's important to know over here is that they claim that this malware was so advanced that they were not able to detect it because the files which were being used in this malware infection were residing on the hard disk. Were not residing on the hard disk, but in the registry. So as the name says, the name region is taken from in registry. So they just swapped it, and now it is called region. This is very important to understand, because this is, again, I know that it's fairly complicated, but the basic is that they were looking at the wrong places. They were expecting a malware to create files on the hard disk, whereas this malware was creating, its traces only in the registry. And I find it very, very interesting. Why is it like that? So, I mean, it's again a question to the vendors. Why is it like that? They are not paying enough attention to the memory. And that opens up questions, and that just goes to show that how fairly not well understood this area is. People are not paying enough attention to memory forensics. And I firmly believe that this field of memory forensics is going to grow, and that is what I come to share today. Again, a closer look at what has transpired during this year. All fancy words: bash, shell shock, heartbleed, poodle bug, Windshock. Windshock. 19 years it has remained in the wild, and only now we are knowing about this. How many people have lost, money, or I do not know what sort of attacks have happened. And that just goes to show that, the importance of unknown malware. And again, we are not talking enough about it. Again, JP Morgan, a case study again. Nobody knows exactly. They are not sharing enough information to us what has actually happened here. But it is alleged that there was an unknown vulnerability which was exploited by the bad guys, and they were able to siphon off a lot of information. And I think this is still going on, and we will know more about this. So just to wrap up what I'm going to be talking about today, today's agenda is unknown malware, memory forensics. What is memory forensics? IOCs and threat intelligence, security analytics. Again, big fancy words. What I have been able to accomplish during my research, and I'm going to share my results with you, and some Q&A. I also have a demo in the middle. So what is unknown malware? I think I don't need to explain that a lot. It is basically, so all malware which is generated by the bad guys or the adversaries, it remains unknown for a certain amount of period. And it can be, again, if it is targeted, it remains unknown to your environment for a certain given period. That period can be from a few hours to a few days, or as we have seen, to tens of years. So that is essentially malware. Any malware which bypasses your existing toolkit or your signature-based tools is unknown to you. So how are you going to detect it? Again, it really depends how much effort you want to put in it. Any malware that is not, as I said, any malware that is not detected by traditional or modern security toolkits at any given time is considered unknown. The bottleneck is generally the time taken by the vendors to update the signatures and contents. Unknown malware can target specific environments, as we have seen over and over again. For a good example is Stuxnet. Unknown malware generally targets zero-day vulnerabilities, as there is little protection against these vulnerabilities. So again, this is unknown malware for you. Common enterprise toolkits. Again, if we look at today's landscape of what sort of tools are available, what sort of tools we have in any large enterprise or even for home users, we have these categories. I try to cover as many as possible, but you can see that the bottom line is that most of the toolkits are based on signatures and heuristics, or either heuristics or policy. So, and they don't have enough flexibility for us to be able to detect unknown malware. We already saw that there are malware which remain undetected for a long period of time. And these are the toolkits which we have today out there to detect. As you can see, most of them are either rule-based or signature. So that just goes to show, and that is one of the reasons why we continue to see these cases detecting and problems in detecting unknown malware. So there is a new field which is brewing or coming up, which is called on-host forensics. Basically, this is like, you can say, an advanced form of antivirus, which does much more than a virus would do. So viruses are generally based on, antivirus solution is generally based on heuristics and signatures, whereas these tools do much more. They have much more better control over memory, or they have a better mechanism of analyzing the artifacts which are residing in the memory on the hard disk. So good examples are Mandiant Redline, Carbon Black, NKS, eDiscovery. There are others which are coming up. And all of these are evolving. All of these have their strengths and weaknesses. So this is what is happening. What is memory forensics? Memory forensics is traditionally an incident response technique where we analyze a memory for the purpose of detecting artifacts which the malware has left behind. So when a malware infects a machine, it leaves a trail of evidence. So as part of the incident response, the analyst is trying to find out what actually transpired. People who do malware reverse engineering will appreciate it, because in malware reverse engineering, we are trying to actually go line by line and trying to understand what the code is actually trying to do. Whereas in memory forensics, we are looking for a similar kind of thing, but from another angle, that what actually happened once the malware was there, once the malware has infected the machine. Again, as I said, it is generally used for incident response. The findings can be used for future investigation. You can build up your own in repository, whatever you found, and you can improve your defenses. How do memory forensics tools work? In most cases, a successful malware infection leaves, as I said, it leaves a trail of evidence. So memory forensics tools, they are designed on sort of these principles: identify rogue processes. This is basically an excerpt from SAN's website, their handbook. By hand memory analysis, this is how you go about doing it. Analyze processes, DLLs, again, evidence for code injection, which we have seen in other presentations as well. Check for rootkits, dump suspicious processes, and so these all of it is dedicated towards identifying what the malware was trying to do in the memory. Threat intelligence. So threat intelligence is any source of information which provides you early warning, which are applicable to your environment. If you're talking about an enterprise, the sources of threat intelligence could be government briefings, cybersecurity communities. open source forums, closed. So a good example is like there is a forum, underground forum, or a MIRC channel where hackers are getting together and they're saying that, okay, let's organize ourselves and target a specific environment. So if somebody gets to know about that, and that information is relayed to the organization in any way, that could be through their covert channels or through the researchers. So that is again a source of threat intelligence. And in many cases, for the case of threat intelligence, the attack may not have happened. The attack is still, it's imminent or it is still developing. So they hear about it from all of these sources and try to protect themselves against that attack. So this is threat intelligence for you. Using memory forensics with security analytics. So we already saw what memory forensics is. It's forensically analyzing the memory to detect any artifacts left behind by the malware. And threat intelligence is, as I said, a source of information which can be utilized or provides early warnings so that you can use that information for detecting malware. So if you combine these two together, you can close the gap between detecting unknown malware. So this solution, which is called security analytics solution, it does not exist today. This is more of a concept, and a lot of researchers out there have different opinion on this, that what it should do, what it should look like. In my opinion, it should look like something like this. And it's not very far off from my discussions with other people, right? For example, I know quite a few vendors which are trying to merge packet capture capabilities and SIEM solution capabilities, and they're selling it as security analytics solution, which I think is a good start, but there's a long way to go. But ideally, what should happen is that a security analytics, a true analytics solution should be able to do large amounts of analysis, backdated analysis, and obviously we need to be able to detect anomalies and pattern detection as part of the capabilities. Again, as I said, this does not exist today. Every organization who are serious about security analytics are doing it in their own way. So there is no industry standard on this. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to highlight how we can utilize two of the sources today in order for us to detect unknown malware. Again, going back to what we have today, how the landscape looks like today. For detecting known malware, we have two sources today, IOCs and signatures. IOCs is coming from threat intelligence sources. These are, again, early warnings, whereas signatures are vendor-specific updates. Again, as you know, for antivirus tools, we get updates very frequently, maybe thrice or four times a day. But both of them have the same problem. The problem is that you need either a system or a user who will have to report this to you. Otherwise, your toolkit or your solution will not work. Your solution will still not be able to detect emerging threats or unknown malware. Again, both of these have different properties. But again, the commonality is that they both require somebody to report. So if we are to see how a known malware would be detected in a security analytics space, it would something work like this. We have an IOC via threat intelligence. This is an IOC for Zeus. You can see that there's a bunch of registry keys and IP, destination IP, and some other stuff. And we are getting memory analysis data and registry keys. So on one side, we are getting active data from the host. And on the other side, we have an IOC list, which is sort of a signature. And whenever there is a match found, bingo. So you are able to detect malware. But in essence, this is how an antivirus would work, right? In this case, we are doing it outside the system. An antivirus would be doing similar kind of stuff because, again, it is based on signatures. So this is how it would work for detecting known malware. But when we talk about unknown malware, how do we go about detecting unknown malware? In my opinion, we need to do much more for us to be able to detect unknown malware. One of the methodologies which we use, which we commonly use, the terminology which we use is baselining. We use baselining in different ways, whether it is patching, whether it is configuration management. So in this case, what I'm proposing is that for us to be able to detect unknown malware, we need to baseline our environment. That means that we need to document down whatever thing is running in the memory on the hard disk and store it somewhere where we can manage it. That essentially means that we document down whatever processes are allowed on our system, whatever software is installed on our machine, what DLL specific DLLs are running on our machine or are authorized, and obviously we need to have a concept of whitelisting as well to supplement for this. Once we have this mechanism in place of baselining, we will be able to detect anomalies, and that would set the scene for us to be able to detect unknown malware. So if we are to go back to our security analytics space, how it would work, we have a baseline, we have a latest known baseline, we have everything baseline, we know we have inventoried all of these things in a central place, and we have memory analysis data coming in. So whenever something out of ordinary happens, that out of ordinary could be based on your statistical analysis or your anomaly detection algorithms or your models, and that can, again, those would reside in your security analytics solution. And then that would set the scene for detecting unknown malware. So as soon as there is a deviation detected detected by the security analytics solution, that would give you some indication that there is something happening in your environment. So quickly going into the solution, I have talked a lot about memory forensics, what memory forensics is, IOC is, then also talked about security analytics. So in my solution, I'm sort of simulating a few things. For example, this volatility is a well-known, well-understood tool out there which is used for memory forensics. What I have done is that I've customized it to a certain extent where I'm trying to control the output of this, whereas how volatility is designed to do is it's fairly interactive, that you give it a command, okay, give me the list of processes, and it will give you those lists down in your console. But it is not designed to dump the results in a given format or in a given file. So that capability I added to a large number of its plugins. By default, volatility has built-in malware detection capabilities. It can look for rootkit. Where it's debatable how good it works, but the capability is there. It can look for hooks as well. Supports Windows, Linux, Android, can help in capturing indicators of compromise by listing memory. As I said, all the things which a normal memory forensic solution would do, this has the capability to do it. So again, continuing with my solution, how my solution works is that we have a RAM. The RAM gets dumped to a secure drive where the user is not impacted by it. If the user would be operating the machine as normal, a dump of the memory happens because that is mandatory for us to do memory forensics. Otherwise, we will not be able to, on active machine, if we try to do memory analysis, the malware might be intelligent enough to detect that it is being analyzed, and it will try to hide itself. So that's why it's imperative that we do a dump of the memory. That dump of the memory happens on the same machine. Remember that in this case, we do not know that the machine is infected or not. We are doing a proactive analysis of the memory. So in this case, the memory gets dumped on a secure drive, which is hidden from the user. The volatility scripts, which I've customized, run. It lists down all of these things. The data gets packaged from different clients, and it's sent to a central server where we can do our analysis. So this is sort of, I'm simulating our analytics, security analytics server. So this is our central place where we store everything. So my lab setup, based on my laptop, I had limited resources, so I chose a 1 GB RAM, running Windows 7 with MS SQL server. So this would act like a security analytics solution, and I have already loaded some sample IOCs. The server receives memory analysis data from client every 30 minutes. So what we are doing over here, every 30 minutes, we do proactive analysis of the memory, and the data gets sent to a central place. Let me just show you a demo. OK, so the demo. So in this case, I'm trying to show a machine which is already infected by Zeus. So I have a memory image of a machine which is already has been infected. In this case, I'm just showing the RAM. The vmem is a VMware RAM, and I have launched the script manually. So this is sort of a script, and it would run as like any other agent would, like an antivirus would do, or any other like SCCM agent would do. So it has access to the system resources, and it can analyze it. So in this case, it is doing some analysis, and it is preparing the information. And over here, I'm just showing locations where it is dumping out the list. So this is my S drive, which is secure, and it is going to list down artifacts of the memory. So you can see that we have a very, I don't know about the resolution, but I can read out for you that it is showing PS list, which is the list of the processes. This is how the format of the file looks like. So all of this is customized, which is I have done. I've been able to. So now I'm moving over to the server. As you can see over here, that this is a SQL server. For those who are familiar with SQL Server, there is a concept of tables. I can store information, organize the information however I want. Generally, the same type of data resides in a single place. So in this case, I'm running a select all query on a process, on a table which is storing the processes. You can see over here that there is a host ID which is associated to a given host, or an instance of the analysis, and we have the process name, we have the process ID, we have the parent process ID, we have the PDB, we have the memory offset, the time period. So a lot of good information is being kept, and as you can imagine, you are doing it across your environment, and that will allow you to capture this information. So continuing with it, and so I have, as I said, that I have already loaded some IOCs, which is published by Stix or Open IOC. There are a lot of platforms which allow you to do that. So you can load those. So I've done that. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm just showing you that how if we have IOCs already loaded, if I compare it to only memory analysis data, I can detect malware. So it is showing that the malware machine is probably infected by that. So this is a quick snapshot of how Zeus can be detected based on that. Moving quickly to detecting unknown malware. So in this case, I have already taken a snapshot of a machine before the infection of the malware. I don't have any IOCs, I don't have any indicators, I don't have any signatures in this case. I'm just dumping out the malware in this case. So I'm assuming, so I'm manually infecting the machine. The machine can get infected with multiple mechanisms. In this case, I'm manually running the malware, and it is infected. As you can see, that the user does not get impacted in any manner. So what I do is, so the machine is already infected. It has done something in the memory. I do not know what the hell it has done. So that is what we're going to find out. So in this case, you can see the script actually dumps the memory. It is dumping the memory, and then it will try to analyze, dump out the artifacts residing in the memory. So you can see it is going on and doing all the running the script. So I will quickly go to the server side while it is doing. So remember, I already have a snapshot of this. OK. So as I told you, I already have the snapshot, and I ran another snapshot forcefully. Ideally, it would run every 30 minutes, as I showed you, but I'm doing it to save time. So you can see that there are two snapshots of the same machine. The node 1, the machine name is the same, but the host ID, the ID is different because of the different instances. The two images are taken at 2 different times, maybe 23 minutes apart. So this is just simulating how it would work in a 30-minute window. So this is just showing you that these two images, the host IDs, belong to the same host name. Continuing with this, if I do, so when I was designing this, I say, how can we do very basic stuff with this useful information? Because you don't get to see memory analysis data in this format very often. I cannot think of any sources which provide you this kind of rich information from the memory today. So this was, so I try to do very basic analysis. I'm trying to compare one snapshot from another and trying to see what processes have changed in the last 30 minutes. So you can see over here that I just did a comparison for those who know the SQL. I'm running a SQL. I know that these are I'm doing sort of hacking it. But imagine that we do the latest snapshot, compare it to the last known snapshot based on date. You can see that I'm just doing a differential. It is showing me that there is a new process which is detected. Again, I do not know anything about this process. I just did 2 snapshots, and this was the differential. I said, OK, let's play along with this. sorry, what just happened? I apologize for this. Yes, so I was saying that I did a simple comparison of this, and I was able to find more information about this about this process. So you can see that the process ID is 192. I tried to do connection analysis. What are the connections which were opened by this process? You can see that there was an outgoing connection by the same process ID. Then I do a further analysis of this of this IP and or this malware from process point of view, from connections point of view. So again, all of this can be automated. I'm just showing you the back and how it would work theoretically. And now it is what it is doing. It is matching the IP from the openly published geo-IP location information. So you can see now we can tell more about this malware without spending a lot of time. We can tell, okay, this malware infected the machine. It opened up a new process, which is with the process ID 192. It tried to open a connection to a remote server. The server location is based somewhere in US. This is this is the name of the entity which owns the IP range, and this is the location, geolocation IP. So with a simple basic analysis, I'm already able to say, okay, that this is the start of the further investigation, and there is something suspicious about this process. Again, I know that the IP might have changed, and I'm doing a retrospective analysis. Imagine that this is going to a Ukraine or any other well-known areas where generally command and control centers exist. So this is just going to show you, goes to show a snippet of information what we can do, with this basic analysis. So we have been able to detect a suspicious process which we had no idea about before. Okay, so obviously this solution has some pros and cons. It's open source, so that's one of the biggest advantages. So cost is not an issue. If you go in the market and ask for any of the solutions which I highlighted, Mandiant, e-discovery, they run into millions of dollars. Whereas this is an open source tool which sort of works in that way, and in my opinion, it works in some of the data it collects, the other solutions may not be able to collect today. Provides vital information which does not exist today from any other source. Again, this is based on open source tools, which is flexible. This can be changed to your requirements. Concerns, as you know, memory forensics is fairly CPU intensive, and it's also time consuming. So the whole intention of this was to automate memory forensics to a large extent, where we don't have to spend a lot of time identifying basic information about the malware. So I feel that this situation will improve in the next 5 to 10 years. For now, we can tame the open source tool to our liking, whatever works for our environment. But this is a starting point. We got to start from somewhere. It is based on limited support since it's open source. Data privacy issues as well, because as you know, in the memory, a lot of private information resides, like the password hashes, and they can be accessed as well. So it depends on the policy, your company policy, whether you can access that data. So where do we go from here? So we learned today that we can start doing basic memory analysis, automated memory analysis using open source tools. We can automate many of the steps which are recommended by SANS. And again, this is a good starting point for further investigation. You don't need a fancy analytics solution to get started with finding unknown malware. You can have some concepts of analytics data or complementary data, like I showed you geo-IP data, and you can build your solution based on that. As I said, that there is no perfect solution out there for security analytics. One of the things which I was not able to do, obviously, dump suspicious process. But I think with a little bit of research and engineering, we can accomplish this as well. The big picture. In short, these areas of memory forensics and security analytics are growing. You're going to hear a lot about this. Some of it would be normal vendor talk, hype. And I personally feel that we are at least 5 to 10 years away from a mature security analytics solution. So the key of this, the message from my side is that we got to start from somewhere. And I'm just providing a tool which you can start using and open up the debate of detecting unknown malware. So that is what's going to happen in the future. You're going to hear a lot about these two areas. Credits Lenny Zenster, who's sort of my mentor in this field, memory analysis and memory forensics. Jamie Levy, who's actively involved in volatility. If you want to get started with these, malware reverse engineering and memory forensics, you can pick up these 2 books. These are a very good resource. Yeah, that brings to the end of my presentation. My code for the solution which I showed you, it's available in my GitHub. You can find it for memory forensics for all. This path, you can go and you can download it and start using it. You can also contact me via email, or you can follow me at Twitter. I will be a Black Hat trainer in March, talking about a similar subject. I want to use language R, if some of you know that it's a sort of an open source MATLAB. So I want to utilize the power of R for visualization and whatnot. So it's going to be fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we are out of time. But if you have questions afterwards, yeah, or you have something urgent now, questions? Just one question we'll have.
Hi, a quick question about the tool, the dumping the memory. What exactly you are dumping? I mean,
the memory.
But you memory. But what kind of memory? Not physical one directly, but you take
the RAM,
each
the RAM
directly, whole RAM. But some of the things are flashed to the they are swapped, right? So
yes. So that you have brought up a very valid point, and the volatility tool today does not provide that capability to patch the the memory pieces which are in the hard disk. So that is a limitation in the tool. In fact, most of the tools which I highlighted have the same limitation. So you're right. So that is, again, the key is that if we do this analysis actively, we don't have to worry about processes being swapped. And that is what, in future, maybe we do it every 10 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So so we can get around this problem by doing active memory analysis and reducing the time. So if we do it after every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes, our results will become more accurate. I proposed 30 minutes because I thought that would be a good starting point. Yeah.
Thank you so much.